So you've just finished the WordPress installation on your web server. What do you do next? You start posting content and designing your site. What else would you do with a brand new website? Well, there are certain settings and adjustments that you might have forgotten about, but are just as important as the content of your website. Okay, maybe not all of them are as important. And come to think of it, probably none of them are as important, but they are important nonetheless. So if you haven't clicked away yet, let me educate you in this short video. And we'll start this off with the favicon. The favicon will let visitors know they've got your site open in another tab without even reading the name. I've seen so many sites that don't have a customized favicon or just leave it at whatever the default setting is. Honestly, I've seen so many Squarespace favicons, it makes me angry. The favicon is a great way to give your site a bit more personality and stand out from the rest of the crowd. And if you use the pin tabs in Chrome and possibly other browsers also support it, you'll be able to distinguish which site is yours. You can take this one step further and install a plugin called Super Progressive Web Apps. This plugin will allow visitors to install your website on their mobile device as a progressive web app. It will appear as a normal app on your smartphone, and if you open it, it won't display certain browser elements such as the URL and bookmarks bar. The next item is something I suggest you set up just to be on the safe side of things. Cookie and privacy policy generators are a dime a dozen, and the whole thing is set up in a matter of minutes. Once the pages have been set up, just place a link to them in your footer and you're sorted. If your site is viewable to Europeans, I suggest you use the plugin SEOpress to set up your cookie bar. That way the tracking cookie will only be loaded once the user has agreed to have their visit tracked. And incidentally, I've got a full video on that plugin, so why not check it out once you're done with this video. Moving on from content you should add to content you should remove. I'm talking about everything WordPress comes bundled with. That Hello Dolly plugin? Yeah, you don't need it. Not using any of the default themes? Remove them. Default posts and pages? Remove them before you make the embarrassing discovery that you've included them on your production site. Many themes will place its name along with a link to the author in your footer. GeneratePress, which is the only theme I ever use and you should definitely be checking out, does this if you use the free version. Which is fair enough, you get to use a great free theme and they get a backlink. But you do get the option to remove that link if you purchase the pro version. And removing that link makes your website just look a bit more professional in my opinion. And while we're talking about names, let's segue into the next piece of advice. Every WordPress site has a title and you've probably already adjusted yours during the installation. But what your WordPress site also has is a tagline. The tagline might make an appearance underneath your title or somewhere in the footer, depending on how your theme is set up. Wherever it shows up, you do not want it to say just another WordPress site. The next setting is best adjusted before you add any content to your site. I'm talking about the permalinks settings. While I won't tell you which setting you should choose and whether you should set up a custom structure, I will tell you to have a look at these settings and adjust them to your liking or how you've been told to do it. Once you've made these adjustments and your site is in production, never touch them again. And finally, 2 tips for your posts. First up, always make sure you have an excerpt and featured image set. If you do not set the excerpt, WordPress will just take out the first few sentences and display them. And that might not entice users to read your content as much as a saucy bit of clickbait. And the last bit of advice concerns how your posts look like on the front end. Go through the widgets and remove anything you don't need. You also might want to add some other widgets while you're at it. Make your posts your own and give them a bit of personality using the sidebar. The sidebar is also a good place to include links, such as a link to a YouTube channel you should definitely subscribe to. That's it, I have nothing more to say. I've tried to include as much information in as few words as I could without any unnecessary padding. If you think I've missed out on something, please let me me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video and perhaps even learned something, please do hit that like button, as it really does make a difference. And while you're down there, why not consider subscribing to this channel? Anywho, that's enough from me for one day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.